drop the ball, whatever, and I look up and they're all looking at me like clapping. Because I'm a player. I'm not a freestyler. I'm really not. This is what people don't realize. Anytime you learn a new trick, you are failing for days. Different, freestylers, creators, this and that, and it in a way they're doing it, but it's not how I do it.
Yeah, I can tell. Like, and that's one thing too about your freestyle. Like, I like how you put your own like that unique touch on it. It's different from everybody else's. Like, I
Yeah,
think like the one thing that always stood out to me is like it seems so subtle, but like, you make it look so easy, if you know what I mean.
yeah, I
Like
appreciate
it
that.
like so smooth, like your transitions, like even that zero gravity one we are talking about. You made it look effortless. Like
Yeah,
that's the one thing like I appreciate about it. Like when I see that, I'm like, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. He's got the
you know
skill and
what's
the ability.
what's interesting about that is so the very first time I was ever around freestylers, Tricks invited me out to Miami two Decembers ago. So not last December, the one before. So 2 years ago, I went to Basel Ball in Miami.
Hmm.
And it was the first time I was ever in an environment with other creators, freestylers, because I'm a player. I'm not a freestyler. I'm really not. Um, I devoted all my time and efforts growing up to sign pro contracts, and blessed to say I have. But that's where all my energy went. But given the influence of Dino and the Joga Bonito and that whole movement in the 2000s, what that did for me was I just spent so much freaking time with the ball and tried all these tricks and stuff. But I never lost. I never got into like the dragon stalls and the double around the worlds, or like I don't know, all that crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
And which is awesome. But I kept kind of just that essential for like just juggling, just like so I tell everybody I freestyle like a soccer player. I don't freestyle like a freestyler.
Hmm.
And so when I was at this event, you know, it's very interesting because you feel like, oh, I can't do what they do, but this and that. And so, but I just on one of the segments, I just kind of popped off and everything worked. But it was all simple stuff compared to what they do, right?
Hmm.
And the ball, I finally dropped the ball, whatever, and I look up and they're all looking at me like clapping, and I'm like, what are y'all clapping at? I didn't do anything crazy. And they were like, man, that flow, it just like it's so pure. Like old school is what they said. Like,
Hmm.
Dino vibes, like how it started. And I was like, well, yeah, it's because I haven't evolved like you guys evolved. Yeah, I'm still stuck back there. But there's an appreciation both ways. And that was the first time that I realized, like, okay, like this is cool, like I don't know, because up until then it had just been me, my own thoughts, me seeing my own videos, and me, just having fun, just vibing. And
Yeah.
then you get in the presence of, some of these greats, guys like Osman, the Colombian freestyle champion, guys like, Trix has a similar flow to me. But then you like other guys and you're like, oh my God, like y'all really do this. It was, I'll put it this way. It was the first time that I felt like I was in the presence of people that failed more than me.
Mm. Wow. But then,
Anytime you learn a new trick, this is what people don't realize. Anytime you learn a new trick, you are failing for days,
yeah, because it's not you
weeks.
just don't learn it. Like it takes. I assume it's like parts too, right? I bet it's like little bits. You gotta keep learning until you get the whole trick.
Exactly, exactly. And so that was the first time for me that I learned like to appreciate even more. Because you get a little bit in the judgy sense a little times. I had to catch myself like, oh, that's just crazy, whatever. But it's like, nah, bro, like not whatever. Like that's a dude with more mental strength than I think I have. Because he put himself through, who the heck knows how many frustrations in order to finally land that. And the same frustrations that I got, just learning the little bit that I know, and to go through that over and over and over again. There's a couple years ago, I started training with, so I actually love basketball, and I started training with an AAU team of juniors and seniors in high school. I was already, I mean, we're talking 3, 4 years ago, so I'm pushing 30. And but I would get out of soccer training,
Hmm.
training these kids, and this AAU basketball team would come in, and I made friends with the coach, this and that. And I started training with them like 3 days a week for months. And I was like a kid again, man, because you get to learn again in a way, right? You get to go like the process. I started playing pickleball also just for the, and I love playing golf because I suck at it. And I just love finding new details in things. And, obviously you never learn everything, but I haven't been at a new level in football and soccer where I'm like, oh, that's a new detail. Oh, that's a new detail. Oh, that's a new detail. And you feel like a kid constantly absorbing new details to learn. I'm raising, I got a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and everything is like, oh, like you catch them constantly like, tilting their head and looking into the abyss, like processing something new. And like as an adult, we don't put ourselves in those situations very often. And I love those situations. I love that's why I love freestyle, genuinely. That's why I do love freestyle. And that's why now, I'm pushing into the arena game, the
Mm.
indoor soccer, MASL. And it's so new and it's so beautiful. When do I check in? When do I just run off the board? When do I use the board? When do I just shoot back post to miss on purpose for a tap in? When do I want to hit the board? Do I want to shoot high? It's so new. There's a lot that correlates to the outdoor game. And obviously I played at a decent level outdoor, but there's something so beautiful about learning and failing. And I don't know, man, I'm a sucker for it. I really am.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I get where you're coming from there too. Like, just in terms of learning, and I always just find in my big motto is always trying to improve on one thing every day, and just trying to get better at something. So whether it be like, for example, like sports, like for example, um, so for example, golf. Like I'm not,
Mm.
I like kind of same with you. I'm not really good at golf, but this past summer, me and my cousin, who's a really big in golf, I would go with him every week, and I try to
Yeah.
watch him, and then he would teach me things, and even
Yeah.
though I would fail at it, yeah, miss hits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the more I kept trying, the more I kept
Yeah.
learning, watching
Yeah.
videos, taking that initiative. My score started going from like let's say high 90s. Now I got down to like let's say the low 90s or mid 90s for most of my
Right.
games. So it's just like that. I love putting in that work, but also at the end of it, there's that endorphins. Like when you see the progress, it just
Yeah.
makes it that much better too.
Nah, man. I love the so what does it for me, like golf specifically, right? Since we're on that topic, it's when you hit a shot that you don't like, right? A bad shot. Not a terrible one. When it's so bad, you're just like, oh, that was bad.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's, 20 yards on the right side of the fairway instead of in the center, and you can know why. That to me, that tells me I'm getting better,
Yeah.
right? That when I can know why, oh, I know why it went there instead of there. When I know that, then that tells me, okay, I can fix that, you know, because if you just go, oh, terrible shot, well, how do you fix it? I don't know. It was just bad. Well, bro, like, okay, like, why? And so, like, when I teach kids, specifically, it's easier, when you teach them how to shoot per se, or a free kick, because that's a one thing that you can that's calculated in essence, shooting and free kicks and stuff like that. A first touch, maybe you want your first touch to go long, maybe you want to kill it, maybe you want it to, so it's a lot of variables. But when you get rid of variables and you take one thing, that's why golf, I do enjoy golf, because it's one stroke at a time, and you can, in a way, you're seeking the perfect hit that time. And it's so pretty. But with kids, I always ask, hey, why did you miss to the right? Why did you miss to the left? Oh, well, it hit too much of the laces. Oh, well, my knee was too far outside, so I hit it with the inside of my foot. Oh, well, my foot was too straight and not out, and so it came off the outside of my foot. And so, like, starting to teach them, because if it's so funny, it happens with every kid. The first time you ask him, hey, what'd you hit it with? Oh, my foot. I know your foot, but like, what part of your foot? Oh, I don't know. Well, didn't you just hit the ball? Yeah. So what part of your foot did it hit? I don't know. And then you go from, I don't know, it's the same way, right? Like the first time we swing a golf club, what part of the club did it hit? Bro, I don't know. It hit the club, dog. Like, you know what I mean? But then you start really like, oh, it hit the top of my club because I swung too low. It hit the bottom of my club. It hit the outer face, the inner. And so I love teaching how to think and process. And of course, I don't necessarily have anybody teaching me how to do it. But when I take myself through it. I just love like I said, the details, man. The details
It's
they're
all in
beautiful to me.
it's all in the details.
Yeah.
I had a okay. So first off, I want to kind of go back to when you said I know your other passion is basketball. Now
Yeah.
I want to guess your position. Shooting guard.
In basketball,
Yeah.
I don't even know. I've never played organized ball.
Never like pickup games, like you don't go play at the court or anything
Yeah,
like
but
that.
like I play like three pickup. Like I have played 5-on-5 pickup. I mean when I do, I like having the ball, so I guess a little bit of point, but I like moving off the ball, catching and shooting. I don't know. Shooting guard is probably the most accurate if I were to play. But yeah,
That's if you do, I feel like that would be. I feel like that role would suit you. I feel like you'd be a good
yeah.
shooter with the ball.
I've always said, do you enjoy basketball? Do you watch it?
I do watch it. Yes.
So I have a hot take on basketball, and I think I'm right. I've done a little bit of research, not all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Teams where the top scorer of that team is also the primary ball handler, they haven't won a title.
Interesting. I never really thought about it like that before.
If your primary ball handler is your top scorer, name a team that's won a title where that's the case. Like the only like we could go back to like Kobe, but he wasn't Rick Fox or the guys bringing the ball down. He would find his spot, get the ball, and then cook, right? But he's not per se the primary ball handler.
Mm. See, and that's the other part too. Like, even like I don't like I watch it, but I don't like sometimes I don't try and understand. It's like you're saying the details.
Yeah,
I don't think of that. I didn't think of that detail.
yeah.
Wow, you just blew my mind there.
I think so, man. I mean, you
Yeah,
got like
wow.
primary ball handlers. You know, you have Kyrie. I mean, Steph would maybe be an exception, but Steph, how many times is it a catch and shoot from Steph, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, he may bring the ball down the court. He's doing it less now.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not, you know, even he, you know, he's one where you'd be like, oh no, he handles everything. He's the point guard. Yeah, but he's kind of an off the ball point guard because he'll just dish it. He'll run around for, you know, 10, 15 seconds and then get it and then do something. So he's not, is he really the primary ball handler? I don't know. That's also a different offense under Kerr, but
Yeah, it's one of those kind of like it's a little bit of a gray area there, a little bit with that one.
yeah, but interesting, right? I
Yeah,
started
right.
thinking about that a couple years ago. But yeah, man, yeah, I don't know. My brain, I don't know. I'm
I,
weird.
I I love the analytical thinking, and I just kind of wanted this just to touch with this based on this kind of like the podcast here. So I actually love that first part of it, and like if you're okay with that, can we keep that in the podcast?
Of course.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So then, basically, and this is kind of like how I kind of operate here. Like, so before, like, usually we do it about an hour of the podcast.
Yeah.
And then what happens is I'll edit it and make sure everything's good. And then I'll send you like a private YouTube link. And then
Okay.
if you want to watch it, or I always want to get approval of the guests first before I post it.
Yeah.
So if you're not happy with any of the edits or anything like that, I can change it and make sure it's good. Or if you don't want to post it at all, I won't post it.
Gotcha.
So just want to make sure you're aware so that if there's anything like that, I can make sure it's edited out before anything's posted.
Oh, that's cool. That sounds good. I appreciate that. But I mean, I think we'll be good here.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
I'm already enjoying the conversation, man.
Yeah, and that's what the whole point of this is, man. It's a conversation. I don't want to do like a traditional interview where I'm just asking like questions and then it's just static answers. I just want to have a fun conversation. Just talk about soccer or any other thing, really.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay. So now I wanted to also ask. So my podcast producer's name is Danilo, by the way. So shout out Danilo. I might want to. I might have to copy your background setup for my podcast because I really love that background, man. I'm looking especially at that Kaka jersey. Oh my days, man! It's signed.
Signed.
You got it signed by Kaka?
Yeah, yeah. I went to it's so funny, man. It was the Ronaldinho versus Kaká event in LA back this summer, maybe. I don't know when, April, May, maybe in May.
Sounds like a dream.
And yeah, I got into a room with Kaká. We talked to him, me and my dad. He's a super chill guy.
Wow.
But during the event, I posted a video. It was so dumb. I'm filming Ronaldinho. Mm-hmm. He's like 5 feet from me, and I'm filming him. And it's the first time in my life that I've been like frozen starstruck. And all I would have had to do is put my camera in selfie mode, walk right up to him, and be like, "Hey, selfie," and he would have leaned in, whatever. I couldn't do it, bro. I couldn't do it. I couldn't move.
Wow.
So I was, I was 5 feet from Ronaldinho, like probably 5, 6 different times in those 2 hours, and I didn't even get a picture with him.
Oh,
I
damn.
couldn't do it.
I can get that too, man. Like I had a similar experience with Buffon too. It was
Yeah,
I could have wanted to go. I tried to go see him at one of the practices, and I tried getting in that spot with the photo too. And I get so caught up in the moment, and it's like
yeah,
I'm just like, oh, I'm too nervous and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, it passed by.
yeah.
But
No,
man,
exactly. And so I don't know, like his aura, bro, is different. His aura is different. And with Kaká, it was chill though, bro. I mean, obviously we're talking about a Ballon d'Or winner as well. Like, I mean, it's freaking Kaká. But super chill, bro. Super chill. Very personable. Wanted to know more about me and the work that my dad does in Argentina and a little bit of what I'm doing now using my social platform. He was so personable, and then it was actually his manager that came in and was like, "Hey guys, y'all are done."
oh
So,
yeah,
but nah, super cool guy. But yeah, I mean with Dino, it's something else, man. It's crazy. But yeah, so I got that signed by Kaká. I got a picture with Roberto Carlos from another event. I have videos of Ronaldinho that I'm not in because I was starstruck. Who else? I got there's a goal that Palermo scored um on Vélez. It's a famous goal. He scored a header from like 45 yards out.
oh wow,
Keeper clears it and he just puts his forehead on the clearance and just boom.
never seen that.
During that goal, I'm sitting with the entire Palermo family um, in
Really?
the Bombonera. And yeah, that's crazy. Palermo's dad like grabbed me, picked me up. I was just a kid. So yeah, stories like that are cool. But yeah, so we got the Palermo's younger brother. I want to say younger brother, might be older brother. Yeah, he's a friend of the family.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah. Wow. So you definitely has some really cool experiences. Definitely.
yeah,
That's awesome. Okay, hot take though.
yeah,
So, okay, prime Kaka, 2007 AC Milan. Okay, one of the
yep,
best players I ever I've seen play. Like just fantastic.
yep.
Hindsight, I know he didn't really do as much at Madrid. That's up in the hind. Do you think that was the right move for him, or you think he should have stayed in Milan?
I don't think you tell Madrid no.
No, I don't. That's really tough for me. I'm like, does he
If
like?
if you were, that would be the era to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because I mean, at that point, right, in those years, what was the difference between an AC Milan, an Inter Milan, a Real Madrid? I mean, that's back when Serie A like was kind of at its peak in a way, and then kind of coming down. But yeah, I mean, I totally hear what you're saying, but I mean, Madrid's still Madrid, man. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of one of those things you could stay, whatever. But does that door open up again in the future? Do you even get that chance? Like, I mean, like you said, it's hindsight, right?
Yeah, it's hindsight.
But in the moment, I don't know that you tell Madrid no.
See, like, and I always thought that he maybe fitted a better like a Barcelona a little bit more. That's what I always thought. I would love seeing him in a Barcelona team back in that time.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah.
But so that kind of brings me to the question. Like, so who is your favorite team to watch, or who's your favorite team in general?
So I'm a Boca Junior fan. If I'm just gonna sit down on a random, you know, 20th week of the league, not a Clasico, not a big game, not a Champions League game, not a Libertadores game, just hey, let me sit down and watch this team versus this team. I'm choosing to watch a Boca Junior game.
Dude,
Um,
Boca's so
like if
good.
it's like, hey, watch, I don't know, City versus, I don't know, Newcastle. It's like, or Boca versus Vélez. I'm watching that one.
Hmm. Have you ever been to a live Boca Juniors game?
Yeah, I've been to like 4 or 5 in the Bombonera. Yeah.
And have you? I'm assuming you've been to other games like in Europe and things like that.
I have not been to any games in Europe,
Oh, really?
actually.
Well, I was gonna ask you like,
I've played at games in Europe, but this, fourth tier.
oh yeah.
I played a whole season out there. Um, but no, I haven't
The
been to any games in Europe, no.
the reason why I was kind of asking because like when you hear like the Boca Juniors River Plate games, like you just hear like this that whole environment, like this all that passion that goes into that
Yeah.
rivalry. And I'm just thinking like one of my goals one day is actually go watch a Boca Junior game. And I'm
Let's
just kind of
go.
wanted to hear like what's the experience like in that stadium because I can only imagine how fun it must be there.
I can't talk about it, think about it without like the hair on my skin standing up, man. It's just, I don't know, man. It's different, bro. It's, again, I haven't been to one in Europe. Um, but the Bombonera is, it's iconic. I think that emotions, I think there has to be an emotional attachment
Mm-hmm.
in order to get something emotional out of it. So if you just want to go watch a game, right? Like I'm sure I would have an incredible experience if I saw the Milan derby, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure it would be an unbelievable experience. One that I would remember, one that I'd be like, man, that was crazy, unbelievable, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But like, I'm not gonna feel that game. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And so, like, you're a Juve guy. Like, it's not the same if you go to a City Man U game. Like, it's
No.
probably unbelievable,
Yeah.
but you're not gonna feel it the same way. You know what I mean? Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
And so I
actually.
think for me, nothing touches the experiences that I've had in the Bombonera. Nothing comes close because I am a Boca fan. I grew up in Buenos Aires. I was a 7, 8 year old, 9 year old waking up at 2, 3, 4 in the morning to watch when they played in Japan, Korea against Bayern, against Madrid, for the Intercontinental. And so when you tell me, hey, now we're going to go see the quarterfinals of the Libertadores against Cucuta, and Riquelme scores a free kick right in front of your eyes,
Can't get much better than that. You
dog,
can't.
nothing touches that.
No.
Nothing touches that. And so, you know, that's I mean, I'm like getting teary eyed right now talking about it. I'm not even there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and so I think that when it comes to enjoying it, like, is it a bucket list to go to a Barcelona Real Madrid game in either stadium? Yeah, absolutely. Am I going to enjoy it? Absolutely. Am I going to soak it all in? Absolutely. They're not my teams,
Yeah. I
you know?
understand that. I totally get that, and that's kind of where it's been like where I actually went to go. I actually watched the Juventus game live against Napoli, and this is back in
Oof.
like in 2018 when like Napoli was challenging Juventus for the top place.
Yeah.
So this is like and they still had like Berzagli, Chiellini, they had Higuain still there. They
Yeah.
had and Buffon was the main reason why I went, and that was like I seen him play in the States on like tours, but this was like actual Serie A game, and it was just like
Yeah.
seeing him make these unreal saves and just
Yeah.
it's one of those things that you're saying with their Kelme free kick.
Yeah.
Like unless I watch Italy in like the World Cup, and then when like nothing compares.
Nothing compares, bro, because you've only ever seen it. It's like taking something that, think about it, how passionate you got watching Buffon on YouTube videos.
No.
And then on in the morning when you turn on the TV to watch the game, at a bar in Toronto or wherever, in Canada, it's, and then you're there. And then he makes a save there. Like, bro, nothing's gonna top that. Nothing's
Yeah.
gonna top that in your memory. Not even a Champions League final of Chelsea, versus Real Madrid. It's not gonna top it. Oh, I saw Real Madrid win the Champions League final in the Bernabeu. I bet you still remember Buffon's saves at that Juve game more.
I do.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And do you know what's actually funny that you mentioned this? Because like, remember how we were talking earlier about like practicing and like how we getting better? I was
Yeah.
actually watching him. Like, I find myself watching him more during the game because goal kicks I'm always trying to refine and trying to get more distance out of. So I was watching and analyzing everything he was doing on those goal kicks, just to
Love
see
that.
how much he was doing that. And that's like one of the things that like stays with me too. Is every time I see him, I see the goal kicks, how far he does it. And actually, after that, I took videos of it and I kept replaying it and kept doing it at the field. And my goal kicks have gone farther because of that. Just observing
That's
and
awesome.
trying to emulate it.
That's awesome.
Love
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah, man. There's nothing like going to watch a game, much less an important game of the team you support. There's nothing.
but
I don't know.
by
You just invested. You're invested more.
by the way,
So
hardest experience ever to get tickets for. I'm just saying.
the what?
It was a nightmare getting tickets. It was such
Look,
a nightmare. You had to buy tickets to the members to be a member of the team, and then you had to wait on hold. I was on hold until like 4 in the morning for like 7 hours just to have a chance of buying tickets.
no way.
Luckily, I was able to get tickets, and it was a whole experience. And I'll do it
Wow.
again,
See,
but
like even that stuff, you know what I mean? Like even that stays with you. Like
yeah,
it's beautiful, you
yeah,
know? But if you would have had, like I'm saying, like that same hassle to go to a game you're not invested in, it's like a hassle.
yeah,
But remembering what you went through to get there, that's like a part of the whole beauty of what you experienced,
yeah.
as opposed to a part of the hassle. And so it just changes, you know, when you're emotionally invested, it changes everything. Changes everything.
I know, absolutely, and that's one thing too. It just sticks with you more, and it's like you're willing to put in that work, right, to make that happen.
Yeah. No,
So
for sure, man.
okay, so Dave, I also had to ask you a question too. So not only are you a professional soccer player, and I wanted to ask you about indoor soccer because how that whole game is. So I'll give you some context. I'm a goalkeeper,
Okay.
hence why Buffon. Yes, I know.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, okay, so don't get me wrong, saving is a lot more forte. I've been working on my distribution. I think I'm decent at it. So freestyling, not there. Like I'm in terms of like I can juggle a ball. I can probably do around the world maybe once or twice, like a little bit. Not can't
Yeah.
do it consistently. I wanna get advice from the legend yourself. If I'm like kind of starting from like ground zero, maybe like being one of your students or one of your players
Yeah.
you're coaching, what are some things I can do just to kind of help get my feet kind of in the water of how do I become like a good like how do I become a better freestyler? What are some core things I should do?
Well, juggling, I think it's very difficult to even think about freestyling if you can't juggle to 20, 25.
Mm,
The misconception is you got to be an incredible juggler. No, you don't. And around the world is two touches, one when you start it and one when you finish it. It's just what you do in between those two touches that makes it an around the world,
mm,
right? So perception, everybody that starts sucks and can't do anything. So having an understanding of that, if we're just going straight literal technique on how to improve, it's really about, I tell everybody, it's about timing and patience. If you try to rush it, it's not going to work. You're gonna. I tell kids that you can't tweak, right? Like the word the kids use now. Like if you tweak, right, like real fast, you got to relax. You got to be relaxed because then you start hitting the ball too hard or too much to the side, as opposed to just having like you mentioned earlier, just having a flow, right? You got to have just a decent flow when the ball comes up, like even just something simple like catching the ball on your neck, right? If you hit the ball up and then go like this, well, the ball's just gonna smack you on the back of the head, bro. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Mm,
You got to look at it and see it coming down almost in slow motion. And as it does, you just, you catch it on the back of your head first and it rolls right down to the pocket of your neck and your shoulders. And so it's, I think the first thing is number one, do you think it's cool or do you actually want to learn?
I actually want to learn.
Okay. So now that means you're willing to put the work in.
Absolutely.
Right. And so then if you're willing to put the work in, then once you understand timing, patience, um, then I would say focus on the details. When I hit the ball for an around the world, do I hit it and then try to go, or am I hitting it as I go? Right. But I'm sometimes putting spin on it, just kind of depends. But the ball's got to go straight up and down while your foot goes side. So the details. Um, the other thing is, I'll tell you how I did it. This is an elongated answer.
Hmm.
So YouTube came out in what, like 99, 98, 99, 2000, right?
Yeah.
There was no slow-mo. You couldn't record in slow-mo back then,
Oh,
right? And so you had to put your mouse on the pause button. And you remember doing that?
yeah, I do.
You had to
Yeah.
play, pause, play, pause, play, pause, play, pause. I would do that. I grew up watching Tuzani, Ronaldinho, like some of these guys. And I'm like, okay, at what point did he hit the ball? Where was his foot? Where was his, and I'm sitting there, little 9, 8, 9 year old me in front of the screen, play pause, play pause, play pause, play pause, and trying to get it. And then I'd go outside and try it and come back in, look at it again, go outside and try it, come back in, look at it again, play pause. Oh, that's it. And then until I would get it, and then,
Yeah.
okay, I got it. So now I know it's possible. So now let me go see if I got it because I did it right or if I got lucky. Now, is it something that I need to keep looking at him or just something that I need to keep doing until I get better at it?
Yeah.
So, but freestyle, man, I mean, most of the time when you talk to freestylers, like if we're in person, we can show you a couple things to help,
Mm-hmm.
but it's possible. I didn't have nobody to help me. So it's possible to play pause, play pause, play pause, and go outside and fail, 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 come back in, play pause, go back outside, fail, 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 come back in, go back outside, fail, 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 succeed. Ooh, okay, hold up. I just got it.
Yeah.
Let me go play pause again, play pause, fail, 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 succeed, succeed, fail, fail, succeed. Now I'm succeeding more, right? And so then that drives. I had a conversation with my dad when we were watching The Last Dance. By the way, my wife gives me a hard time. I watch The Last Dance probably 2, 3 times a year, just because I like being wired like greats. And
Great
I think sometimes
documentary.
we can have shorts in our brain and in our self and in our emotions, and so you just need to get rewired. And so
Yeah.
I constantly plug back into to Kobe, to Jordan, to Brady, Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm constantly plugging back in just in case, my wire's shorted. I just get right back in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I asked my dad, I said, what do you think? What do you think drives more, failure or success? Because a lot of people talk about how failure will drive you, right? Kobe's given a great answer, but his answer is unique. So we'll just leave him to him about it's neither.
Yeah.
But for me, success drives me. Also, the idea of success drives me
Yeah.
past failure. So as I'm failing, it's the idea that I can succeed. Allows me to fail, doesn't matter. Fail again, doesn't matter. Fail again, doesn't matter. Fail again, doesn't matter. Because why? Because I'm delusional. I'm going to succeed. So what is failure? It's just something that I have to go through. I don't care.
It's a mindset.
Right. And so it's the thought of success that drives me. And then when you do succeed, you're like, holy cow, it is possible. Let's go for more.
Yeah. I
Right.
think.
And so it was a fun discussion to have with my dad because the commonality a lot of times, on podcasts, on videos, YouTube shorts, whatever is, failure drives, Jordan, got cut, all this stuff. And it's like, even his quote of I've failed over and over and over and over again. And that is why I succeed. Well, you succeed because you can succeed past the failure. And so that was just a fun discussion, but that's how I do it. If there's a new trick that I think I can do, if we're pertaining to freestyle specifically, then I say, okay, I can do that. Oh, well, Dave, you can't do that. Well, I can. I just can't do it yet. Right? Like I can do it.
Yeah.
I just can't yet because I haven't put the work in, because I haven't figured it out. I haven't studied it. I haven't, whatever. You can apply this to anything. Right. And so I actually tell kids when kids can't do something, oh, I can't do that. Hey, cool. Hey, say this with me. I can't do that. And they look at me weird. And you want me to say I can't do it? Yeah. And look, just repeat after me. I can't do that. Oh, I can't do that yet. And then they go, yet. It's like, yeah, not yet. Do you want to do it? Oh, yeah, I want to do it. Okay, well, then do the things that will allow you to do it.
It's trying to help. It's like the biggest thing is like getting over that self doubt. It's having that
Yeah,
self confidence that you're going to be able to achieve this. Just maybe
right.
not right now. That's when I love hearing that. That's great advice. And it's another way to think about it. Yeah, because again, you always hear failure helps you succeed. It's not the case. You have to have that self belief to make you
Right.
get where
I
you want
think
to go.
success helps you succeed. When you see somebody else's success, if you see somebody else fail, does that drive you to go have success?
No.
No, it's the fact that whether they failed or not, someone else has succeeded. So you know it is possible. And I think that that mindset, that's why I try to tell these kids all the time, look, it is possible. Well, but it is, it's been done. Okay. It's been done. So it is possible. It's not like I'm that different than you, double jointed, triple jointed. Like, no, bro, I'm just like you. Okay. It is possible. I can do it, whatever it is, right? And around the world,
Yeah.
I can do it. So it is possible. Well, for you, no, no, no. For humans, I'm a human. For humans, it is possible. Are you a human? Oh, yeah. Okay, then it is possible for you too.
Yeah. It just might take
I've
longer.
just, yeah, I've just worked at it longer than you. That's
Yeah.
why I can do it now. You can't do it yet. And in 10 years, you still may not be able to do it yet if you haven't put the freaking work in. But in 3 days, you could.
Exactly.
So the other thing is thinking about things in reps. This is another good one. If you just think about things in reps, here's the thing is you don't know how many reps. So, but let's just assume everything in life has a limit of reps prior to success.
Mm.
You don't know what the limit is, but you do know there is a limit. Okay.
Okay.
Are you going to start chipping away now? Or are you going to wait to chip away at the number of reps? And this is again the mindset. Well, I don't know how many. It could take a year. It could.
Yeah.
So that means by next year you got it.
I'll be chipping away.
That's
I would do
chipping
as many as
away.
I can. Yeah. I would try
That's
and,
chipping away.
yeah.
But look, it could be tomorrow. We don't know. That's the beauty of this thing. We don't know how many reps. This thing may cap out at 50 reps. If you knew for a fact in 50 reps you would get it around the world, how fast would you do these 50 reps in? An hour. You do one a minute. 30 minutes. Do two a minute. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but because you don't know, and that's the thing, we live in the day and age where everything you want to know is right here in seconds.
Yes.
So anything that you don't know already turns you off.
I agree.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
I
And
find it.
that's the problem for anybody that wants to learn something new that doesn't have the answer right here.
I also feel like it's kind of like one of those things like they want results now. And it's one of those things where it's like you're kind of saying, like how you're going through the details. It's about figuring out yourself, learning that thing, but then putting it all together. That's what helps make you truly learn.
Yep.
And that's one thing about it. Like, for example, like so I appreciate the advice, by the way. So this will help me because my plan is like I'm trying to where I live. It's already snowing here, so
Oh
it's
my
cold.
gosh.
It's cold, so don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. But I want to rent out like a gymnasium, and just for like maybe like an hour, 2 hours a week, I want to rent out a gym at my own cost, and just start trying to learn how to freestyle, like just trying to the
Yeah.
fundamentals, juggling, or just trying to learn tricks, just try to do the little stuff. So that's like my personal goal this winter and in the outdoor, because the main reason why I want to do this is because not only do I want to be a good freestyler, I want to become more comfortable with the ball. The
Yeah.
one thing that's really bothering me, and I started soccer late. I started when I was 15, and that
Yeah.
was because I played hockey here more growing up. Is the stereotypical Canadian thing to do,
Yeah.
but got more into soccer. Took goalkeeping very seriously. Was able to make the university team, etc. But the one thing is, one thing I really want to click is when I watch like La Masia, like Barcelona, that comfortability with the ball. Like that ball
Yeah.
is an extension of themselves. Like one
Yep.
of the big things I saw this summer is seeing like Pedri or Gavi, like at the one of the Spain practices, just juggling the ball all the way to
Yep.
half, putting a cone through the pole, juggling it all the way back, passing it in the air to the teammate, and then they keep going. The ball never touched the ground throughout the whole team. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, wow. And then like it's like I want to get that ball like an extension of myself. I want to become so
Yeah.
comfortable with it. Not only will it become second nature, but also play off for me in games too, right? Like
Yeah.
it'll just add that different like that versatility and just that comfortability skill I don't have. And I've been trying to learn it. And I'm like, okay, I want to learn this approach to add this to my game. Because as a
Yeah.
goalkeeper, goalkeepers are like, they have to be as good as an outfield player pretty much now.
Yeah.
And that's why like my main motivation is, because like it's a skill that is eluded me for the longest time, but I want to learn how to do it just so I can have that comfortability and become more of a better asset for my team as well.
Yeah. No, I love that, man. I think that's awesome. The best, your best friend will be a ball on a wall. You
Yeah.
know, try to juggle a little bit, hit it off the wall, try to control it, keep it in the air. Same thing. I think Berbatov kind of mastered that. He's got some great videos on that. Of course, he would do it with an uneven wall of like bricks and rocks, which is insane. It's so because you don't know how it's going to come back. So that's super cool. But no, man, I think that's awesome, man. It's admirable. I think you're about to, I think you should do it because again, like when we started off the podcast, I love not being good at something and getting the process of getting good at something. It changes you, man. It molds you.
Yeah.
And that's why I try to do as many things as possible that I'm not good at and try to get good, because you just go through that cycle again and again and again. And once you get good, you can't restart the cycle, right? You can find something new within that same thing, but it's like you don't feel like you suck at it. And so you have to go through that feeling and then that confidence, not start something necessarily with confidence. And I think that's beautiful, man. I think go for it, dude. You
Yeah.
should definitely do it.
Well, I might do this. I might document some of it just so that
Yeah.
I can show you some progress. I would love to
Yeah.
see
Come on with
how
it.
you love it, because like I ever kind of see we're kind of on the same wavelength a little bit, just in terms of like progression, just training and like that whole
Yeah.
process. I love this to share some of that because
Yeah. You should. Okay. So once you get, okay, like you said, you already have some basics, like you can do it around the world, different stuff. So combos, I wish I would have started combos with less touches sooner.
okay,
Okay, so what you want to do mentally, you want to tell yourself, I want to eliminate the empty touches.
mm,
So if you start eliminating empty touches, so if right now you do one around the world and then you do 4, 5, 6 touches before you do another one, try to turn those 4 or 5 into 2 or 3. And even if you're uncomfortable, right? Well, I didn't feel like that touch set me up for it. Learn how to do the around the world when you're not comfortable, when you have a bad touch,
yeah,
right? Because not every touch is going to be perfect. Can you still do it? Right.
right,
And so when your mindset is I want to eliminate touches, now you're pushing yourself to do a skill that you can already maybe do when you're comfortable, but now you're training how to do it when you're uncomfortable. Right.
yeah,
And that'll push you to be a better freestyler faster.
I like that.
So, like something like I'm going to go around the world, one extra touch, catch between the knees, around the world from the knees, and then immediately into a pop up net catch, into a drop, one juggle, and then into a Tuzani around the world or something, right? And so that's, as opposed to taking 2, 3, 4 juggles in between each trick. Just start from, like you said, you can already do some tricks. Okay.
Yeah.
So before you learn new tricks, try to do the ones without so many empty touches in between.
Got it. That makes so much sense. Oh, yeah. Okay.
By
No,
default, you'll get better, faster, and then you can start figuring out. Then you learn a new trick, and then you figure out how fast can you incorporate it into a combo.
okay. No, I like
And
that.
all of a sudden, now you're a much, much better freestyler.
It's being more effective with your touches.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, that's awesome. And okay, I'm gonna start that. I'm gonna document. I'll show you some progress. I'll send it to you some like on messages. I'd love to get your feedback. But no, I love that. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
Got you, bro. That's good.
So okay, so I also was, you referenced it. Now, you're living kind of the dream I wish I got to, but you're also a professional soccer player.
Yeah.
Like you're playing for the Dallas Sidekicks, and I just wanted to say like we talk about training, like training at the professional level, different. It's a different animal in itself, and just like you said, learning a new game as well. It's the same type of sport, but different parts of that. Can you kind of take me like how did you kind of get yourself incorporated to like that indoor game? I'm just really interested to hear how you did that.
I delayed my incorporation into it for a long time. So a lot of the guys in the indoor game now, the guys that are, 20 between the ages of, let's say, 27 and 35, right? I'm 33. So we're talking maybe, 5 years younger, 3 years older. Um, I know these guys. The higher you go, the more elite kind of you go, the smaller the group. Everybody kind of knows each other because you've either played with them or against them in tournaments, literally on professional teams. You've traveled with them, whatever the case, right? Trained with them during off season, so whatever the case. So I did halftime shows over the course of the last 4 years.
Oh, okay.
And so when I would come in, and like I did 3 Dallas Sidekick halftime shows, which is so funny because now I'm playing. I went from halftime show to playing, and but every time I would come in and do a show, the guys I would know half the roster or more, and so they're walking out for halftime, and I'm kind of coming in, and it's a bunch of dabs, this and that. And it was always like a lot of love, a lot of respect. Like, Dave, you should be on the field right now with us or whatever, this and that. And but I delayed it. I didn't look to play indoor soccer, arena soccer. I'm not gonna say I didn't want to, but I wasn't looking to do it.
Mm.
So long story short, I go to Brazil in March and overweight, whatever. I mean, I made some content out there with a traveling agency that hooks you up with, you can train in Brazil while you just experience Brazil, Sao Paulo specifically, Nitty Sporting. And it's actually a great business model for guys like us also who want to go on a trip. I just want to go to Sao Paulo and go to a game. Cool. Go through these guys because they'll also set you up. You can train 2 hours a day during that week with a professional team in Sao Paulo. Yeah, off to the side, not literally incorporated with the team, but hell, you're on the same pitch as they are. You know what I mean? You're right there. What else were you going to do between the hours of 11 and 1 p.m. in Sao Paulo?
Yeah.
You might as well train, be there. And so we do that. By day 3, I get offered a contract to stay, which is hilarious. But I was like, no, no, no. Anyway, I get back and they were serious. And I was like, no way. I was like 25 pounds overweight, this and that. And I was like, man, they were like, come back for next season. I was like, look, first of all, y'all better work on my visa. I better get proof you're working on my visa. I'm not going to go until we have housing, like all this stuff. Like I'm a family man, bro. I got 2 daughters. We just moved into this house in Dallas, from Houston to Dallas. Like I got my life set up over there. Like probably not, but if you can do these things, then maybe. And so I start doing my part just in case it all works out. So I lose 25 pounds. I get fit like I was in college. I'm a freaking animal, all this stuff. And then I get a phone call. Hey, we got bought out by a whole new millionaire management team. They came in and bought the club. They fired everybody. All right, well, that door is closed. So I was supposed to go back like right now, like November, beginning of November, to start the next season.
Oh.
And so that was that. And then I'm sitting around, I'm fit. I'm sitting around, I'm like, all right, do I kind of relax now? Like I don't have to go to the gym at 1 a.m. anymore or at 6 a.m. anymore. I can kind of relax. So I chill for a little bit. And then my daughter, we're watching some like a recap of like the Di Maria documentary or something. And she likes watching soccer stuff with me. So we're watching that, and she sees Di Maria's daughters walk out to the stadium, during the Copa America and this and that. She goes, Dad, you used to play in stadiums, right? I was like, yeah. She goes, well, are you going to again? I don't know. No, I'm like invested in the Di Maria documentary. I'm like kind of listening to her,
Yeah.
I was like, why are you asking? And she goes, well, I want to do that with you. I want to go to the stadium, watch you play, and walk out on the field with you and all this stuff. And that's when I was like, oh my God, okay. I was like, all right, no problem. So I stay fit just to see what could, and I get a call so I'm sponsored by Flight, company out of San Diego. I'm going to shout out Brian Farber, who played in the MASL for a long time, one of the GOATs of the MASL. But he calls me And he's like, hey, I got great news. I'll call you tomorrow when it's confirmed.
Mm.
Cool, no problem. He calls me tomorrow the next day. He's like, we signed the Dallas Sidekicks. We want you to be a part of media day, the jersey release, like all this stuff. And I'm sitting in the car, and while he's talking, and it starts all kind of going muffly because I'm thinking, and I interrupt him midway, whatever he was saying at that point, and I just go, hey, what if I play? And he goes, oh, even better. Like, yeah, this, that. And I was like, he's like, you want to? And I was like, I don't know yet, but maybe. But that started everything.
Mm.
And I was like, it would make sense from a PR standpoint, from a social media standpoint, from everything. I mean, I'm wearing the same brand that I'm sponsored by, all this stuff. But then I also get to play again. And my daughter, right? That conversation had just happened a couple of weeks prior, and so I was like, all right, let's do this. So he was like, well, I'll make some phone calls. And I said, no, if I'm gonna do this, I don't want it to be about anything other than me playing.
Mm.
And if I can still play, if I'm talented enough to play, if they feel like I can make the transition from outdoor to indoor, then the coaches will have full say on that, and we'll leave it at that. I did have to make a phone call to see if I could get invited to closed training sessions, and I did. And so I got invited to closed training session. It was 5 weeks of those closed training sessions, and then it was hey, we want to sign you. This and that. The head coach had no idea who I was, as far as like SocccerDave or anything like that. The assistant coach, I had played for him when I was like 17, 18, semi-pro indoor. Um, so there's a little bit of memory on that, but like as far as like the social media and stuff like that, he wasn't so connected into that. So it really just was about my play,
Mm.
and my ability in the arena, which I was happy and pleased to know that that's what it was going to be about. And so I agreed, so that, yeah, I signed, and I'm about to be a rookie at 33 years old, and I'm super excited about it.
That's amazing. I'm super happy for you, and like just that's awesome. I'm glad that all worked. It all kind of came together, and now your
Yeah,
daughter can watch you play in an
she's
arena.
excited, man. She's so excited to. Yeah, she hasn't even been to the arena, seen the arena, anything. It's gonna blow her away. All the lights, all the everything. It's gonna be awesome.
And how is that for you? Like you're gonna be playing professional soccer and having your family see you play. Like that's
Yeah,
huge.
I think I don't know that there's anything more precious than that, really. I mean, uh, everybody talks about legacies and this and that. Your first legacy is your family.
Yeah.
And so, to be able to provide my flesh and blood, my kids, my family with these memories. I never met my grandpa. He died, I think, a year or two after my parents got married. And so I think it was 2 years ago, my dad, I was the age, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was the age my dad was when his dad passed. And so my dad sat me down, we were grilling this and that. And he goes, hey, I just want you to know that everything from this point on out is foreign waters to me. I didn't have an example from this point on.
Oh, okay.
And so conversations like that, you realize everything is memories and experiences. And so to be able to provide my kids with the memories of going to see dad, the experiences of what that's like. My daughter comes with me. I'm dealing with a little bit of an ankle injury right now. So I've been going to get treatment. My daughter will come with me to go get treatment. I'm teaching her I don't know what the heck she's going to do with her life. I don't know if she's going to be an artist, an executive, just a regular employee, a mom, whatever she wants to do. But I'm teaching her whatever you do it with excellence. I'm injured right now. I got to go get treatment. And so she comes, she sees how dad does rehab and, all this stuff. Daddy, does it hurt? Yeah, it hurts. Why do you do it? Because it's making me better. And so like I'm teaching her how to be a pro in essence. I don't know if she'll end up being a pro or not, but she's learning, right? We talked earlier about the details and the experiences and all this and what sticks with you. So in a way, I'm teaching her how daddy lives and how he approaches life. And I'm positive it'll stick with her. But to be able to add, again, I'm a pro. I'm not 25, 30 pounds overweight sitting on the couch with a beer in my hands. I'm going and getting treatment. She's seeing that's what dad does. And so, yeah, it's molding her. I don't know to what extent. We'll never know until later, but it's pretty cool to be in the position that I'm in as a father and as a husband, for sure.
It's that role model, and it's also it's life skills that can apply to so many areas in life.
Yeah.
And that's what's so beautiful about it. And I think that's, like, I'm not a father myself yet, but that's really great to, to take when how I want to raise my kids if in the
Yeah.
future.
They see everything, bro. They see everything.
Yeah,
However you're raising them, that's what they see. You can't show them something you're not showing them.
yeah,
You know what I mean? You could tell them all you want, but they kids don't listen, bro. Kids see. Kids watch. They don't listen. They watch. And so that's yes, take that with you, man. That's the big one right there. They don't listen, they watch.
well, and that I have to make note of that. Maybe after a couple more years, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll
Take your
definitely have that on
time.
my
Take your
mind.
time.
I have
It's
my mind.
it's a whole different world once you enter it, bro. So take your time.
Oh,
But once you're in it, it's a beautiful thing. It is.
yeah, man. And it's one of those things too, where it's like, yeah, I heard it's one of those life changing things. Like, your life is totally changes when you have a child. Like, it's just all, now it's not only you have to care
Yeah,
for this other being that depends on you, right? So
for sure.
that's awesome. So I guess so I know I've seen some little bit of highlights of, like, indoor arena soccer, and
Yeah.
just about, like, I guess just like, you're saying using the boards and things like that. What has been, like, the biggest adjustment for you, like, in terms of, like, translating that from the outdoor to indoor game for you personally?
Processing speed. For me, it's been I already know what it is, right? I'm a detailed guy. I'm
Yeah.
a constantly evaluating myself and learning. It's processing speed. So in the outdoor game, I can read what's going on, process, execute like that, right?
Mm.
In the indoor, I'm still I'm not an iPhone 16 yet. You know what I mean? My processing speed is still a little slower.
Mm.
And so if you throw at a bunch of apps and they're all open, well, I'm going to function a little slower now, right? I need one thing at a time kind of deal for now
Yeah.
until I get that upgrade, right? And so that's the easiest way I know how to explain it. So for example, um, I was really upset at myself because I hold myself to a high standard, especially on the pitch. Um, Coach had told me, by the way, Coach Terry Woodbury, he's an amazing teacher. He teaches as if he were a disconnected mentor. Um, in the sense of he really just wants you to get it right. He doesn't come off like winning and losing is like it. He's not so. It feels that I'm sure he is. He wants to win. He's a winner. He's won championships in the MASL. He knows how to win. But he makes me, at least me, the conversations I've had, the experiences I had with him in trainings and stuff, he makes me feel like he's invested in me for the long run. And so he just wants to teach me, as if we had forever to learn it. Right. And I know that that also means he's holding me to a high standard to learn it quick because we don't have forever. But his approach to teaching me is that of, hey, look, it's going to be a while. I got your back, this and that. But then if 3-4 times go in a row, he's also calling me and being like, hey, man, remember I told you this.
Yeah.
So it's a good balance. He's a great guy. But he told me about being more savvy with the boards, right? And he mentioned that, let's say on a Tuesday. So we train Tuesday and Thursday. He tells me that Tuesday, halfway through training, hey, be savvier on the boards. They're coming to pressure. Use the board for a 1-2, or use the board to get out of a situation. Because even if it's for a split second, that defender shifts a degree and moves their head, and that ball bounces right back, and now you can turn,
Mm.
right? There's no reason, like obviously the defender knows it's going to bounce right off the board, but it still takes that half second of them reacting, and you're gone. And you can get a shot off or whatever. And so just teach me those. And I was like, okay, yeah, that makes total sense. Boom, right here. I had an opportunity to do it, and it didn't happen naturally, let's say, right? And then after the fact, I'm like, oh, that was the one. That was exactly what he was talking about. That's when I should have used it. And then another play, and then I would do it, but my angle was off, right? And so, and then this, that, and then I wouldn't do it again. I'm like, oh my God, there was another opportunity that I could have done it. Defenders coming in to block your shot, miss to the front post instead of trying to score because it'll get blocked. Miss it, front post, it comes right back. Defender goes right here, you get the ball right back in front of the goal,
Yeah.
right? So these things, they're not here, they're still back here.
Oh yeah.
And so they're a little slower to process. But then that Thursday, right? Halfway through training, let's say, I do 3 1-2s with the wall. A 1-2 on the side, another defender comes in, fake shot, use the wall with the outside of my foot, take a touch towards the keeper, 1-2 around the keeper and score. And I was like, okay. That time it happened a little bit. It came from back here further up, right? But it's not there forever. I gotta keep doing it. And so it's kind of like that whole thing, like, in golf, you finally hit one right down the fairway after talking to yourself and lining up your swing perfect. Doesn't mean the next one's gonna be perfect, but it means, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
Right. And so then it's okay, how much faster can I get this processing speed? Am I still an updated iPhone 13, or am I a slow 16 that's, brand new, but getting the right apps? I'm still, downloading the right apps and stuff like that. And so sometimes I feel like an iPhone 16 that's just released and everything's flying on all cylinders. And other times I'm like, oh my God, I haven't downloaded that app yet or whatever. And so it's that's how I would say my learning curve is going right now. Is there's a lot of nuances that are so different that aren't natural to me yet, but they will be. They will be. It's
Well,
going to be a lot of work though,
it
but they will
sounds
be.
like it though. Like especially in that Thursday practice where you'll pull off 3 times and then not only,
Right,
but then combine it to go around the keeper. Like it's just the
right,
more you
right.
do that, second nature,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. So, it's just about doing it more, realizing it more, and yeah, just getting the updated version of the new iPhone and getting the right apps. So,
That's I love to hear that, and I'd love to hear that too. And honestly, though, Dave, like you're a you're a busy guy. I mean, we know we just met, but like you're a professional soccer player. You have a family. You're also this content creator. Like have all these things going on. Like
yeah,
man, I feel like sometimes it must be all hard to manage. But like I'm just
yeah,
curious. Like watching your content. Like I'm truly inspired by your content, and I want to do similar things to that, obviously. But like, how did you kind of get into that content space as well? Like, how did you
yeah.
kind of find that whole love for that side?
No, great question, man. So when we came back from Spain, late 2019, I thought I was done, right? I thought I was done playing. I still wanted to play, but I was given, in my opinion, the greatest honor for me, which was to play a season in Europe. And so when I came back, I was like, I can be okay with being done. And so we moved to Houston. And that's where my wife's family's from. And I was like, all right, well, what do I do? I had a great, kind of coming to Jesus moment a couple years prior in like 2017, where I completely surrendered all my plans, all of my ambitions, goals to Christ, to God, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what, God, I just want to live in your presence. I want you to guide my life. I want you to use my life. I mean, if he's the creator, if he's the ultimate planner, if everything is in his hands, right?
Yeah.
Then he can do more with my life than I can do with my life. So I'm somebody that is ambitious. I'm somebody that does think that I'm going to accomplish big things, that I'm destined for greatness. I do think that way about myself. And so I'm like, okay, do I want greatness by my hands or greatness by his hands? Which one would be greater? Well,
Yeah.
I'm limited. He's not. This kind of just makes sense that in his hands, it'll all be greater. So I was like, okay, what do I do? And I kind of prayed, and he made it real clear. He was like, look, everything, all these talents, all these gifts, that you have for talking to people, for coaching, for joy, just smiling, this and that charisma. He was like, you still have that. You don't need to play to use that. He goes, so I'm still going to use you like that. Let's go ahead and use social media. And So that's why from the beginning I just made videos, whatever. And if it got 100 views, I was like, cool. Today I only saw 3 people in person, so 100 online. That's great, right?
Yeah.
So I never got caught up in the views, in the follows. There's a little bit more that I have to get caught up in now, which I actually don't enjoy because it does pay a little bit now, and so it's like if I'm using this income to also take care of my family, then I have to like actually make income.
Yeah.
And so it's a little annoying to have to prioritize it because of that. I do miss a little bit more of just the pure essence of, hey, look, I think in my bio it says sharing joy and happiness with a ball at my feet, right? Like that's all I'm doing. I'm
Yeah.
sharing joy and happiness and God's love with a ball at my feet. It's not about the views. It's not about the follows. It's not even about anything else. It's God's given me a gift with the ball at my feet. I'm going to use it to spread joy and happiness and to spread his love. That's it. And that's the pure essence of it, man. To answer your question, like, how did I get in it? It was an avenue that I could do that. And that's it. Like even today, like I'll have conversations with other content creators. Trix is another guy that I love and value because he's kept his very pure as well.
Mm.
But other guys that are also my friends that do this for a living and make really, really solid, you know, incomes, how they feed their families and stuff like that, they are invested in when to post and what to post and all this stuff. And it becomes so I don't know how to put it, but it's like that's what they do, right?
Yeah.
And I just don't want to get consumed. Uh, I don't want to lose bits and pieces of myself or bits and pieces of my life to succeed on a screen. I want to be more influential off the screen than on it. And so I try to be, it doesn't always work, right? But I try to be more diligent and intentional off the screen than on it. Now I use the screen to get opportunities like this. Obviously, we're using a screen right now, but this is personal, right?
Yeah.
And so I've said the other thing I told my dad the other day is I want to use screen to screen to go heart to heart. And so that's what I do. So the essence of my content, and I could do a better job of getting more personal. I do in bits and pieces, but I think that that's kind of Jesus said, "Hey, let's be fishers of men." Well, you have to have bait in a way, right?
Yeah.
Not that I'm like baiting everybody. That's not what I'm doing. But hey, what gets views? What gets attraction? This and that, so that I can, tell you why I really do this, right? I say all the time, soccer's the tool, not the project, right? That's on my website. Um, and so there's just a lot of that. There's not a science to it. There's not a lot of planning to it. Like I said, I'm just I'm just living and using what I feel like God's given me to use. That's it.
And I
Could I be better? Yeah. Could I be better about the algorithm? Could I be better about figuring out what gets more views? Could I be better about when to post? Could I be better about researching? Yeah, 100% I could be better. But that I feel like that would take me even more away from my kids. Like you said, I'm very busy. So I have to really prioritize where I'm going to use some of my downtime. And getting on Google and researching the algorithm is not necessarily somewhere where I want to spend my time.
No, and I get that, and I really appreciate that answer, and I feel like and I mean, I think a lot of who's ever kind of done, even if you dabbled in content creation, it can be very easy to get lost in the numbers, right? Like you see the numbers go up, you
Yes.
see the views, and it gets addicting in a way.
So I've
Um,
lost 5,000 followers in the last 6 months.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't care.
yeah. Well, and
Oh,
that's kind of the thing that like when I saw your content, like it resonated with me a lot because, and even with Tricks as well, it's it's passion. It for me, like I have a regular full time job. This is for me is like a passion. Like I just do
yeah.
this. I'm not getting paid for this. Like I'm not at a point where I'm just doing this because I love doing it.
I love
And
it. I love it.
and it's one of those things. And one of your videos kind of stood out to me is like where the beautiful game, like it wasn't my first sport, but like it's like my true love that I found because if I didn't play this sport, like I just looking back at like all the experiences it's brought back on my life, like the beautiful games brought me to to meet all the people I'm surrounded with now. Like for example, this one passion project I'm doing, which I'm going to be releasing like a series on my YouTube channel, which is like
Yeah.
I'm taking the oldest team in the country in Canada here, like one of the oldest teams in the country. They went from national champions, even played Tottenham here in the 50s. They've
Wow.
been going downhill. They're in our local league here. They're in the last division. We're going to fold.
No way.
So then this season, I was like, I know the team, and I was like, hey, let me come help you. I'll co-manage the team with you. I'll play out or play goalie, whichever you need. And now, basically, instead of like we went from like 6 players, now we're at like the max where we have 25 players. And now what
Nice.
we're doing is documenting this journey throughout the whole indoor season.
I
So for
love it.
me, it's like that passion for me is kind of like just more of like an experience in a way. This is like, okay, I'm gonna play soccer. I'm gonna document this season as it goes,
Yeah.
and then people want to see like this oldest team that's kind of fallen all the way down. Well, they can join us to see if they want to watch. Great, they can see the
Yeah.
team go through this. Potentially, hopefully, get up to the 5th division, 4th division,
Yeah.
and we want to continue it. And it's just for me, it's just finding those little things and just again building as an experience and just having fun with it. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah. I love it. I love
So
that, man. That's cool.
and I
Yeah.
and for me, like one of my favorite highlights was we well, there's Canada is like a lower league, lower than MLS, called the Canadian Premier League. And one of the biggest things I got to do, if I didn't do this, was I actually got to do a penalty challenge with them.
Nice.
So, and I was able to do a penalty challenge against Valor, which is my hometown's team, and then was able to do that. So it's just like those experiences and just going along with it and building memories, man, and building connections with people. Just
Yep.
biggest thing along the way, and my biggest mindset, even with Danilo here, my podcast producer, who we're building this out together, is just I want to try and leave everyone I interact with more on a positive note. Like try always leave it better off than when I came. That's
Yeah.
always my big thing, and I never want to do anybody wrong. So that's
Yeah.
my best ability to, and I that really speaks to me, and I love that you brought that up.
Oh, I love that, man. Yeah. I think, I mean, ultimately, right? Like, we can make all these plans. We can, we can, I said, my dad's been a huge influence in my life, but there was a time where I was making, all these plans, all this stuff. And my dad said, hey, man, stop trying to, stop trying to make a movie out of your life. You're a crap director anyway. And,
It's a
I
good
was
one.
like, I was like, what do you mean? He goes, look, just let God direct it. Play the best dang role for your role possible, and this movie will get nominated for all these awards, and you'll win an Oscar
Yeah,
because you actually have a good director. Just play your part, and dog. I'm telling you, there's something so freeing about having that, not just that mindset, right, but like that level of faith, because there is a lot of faith involved, right? You're kind of in a way counting on things that you don't know, right, to kind of come to fruition, or you're just really putting your life and entrusting it into something unseen, right? Like that's what faith is.
mm,
And but there's something so freeing about, like, I'm not in control. I don't have to be in control.
yeah,
I just have to trust, and I have to play my part. Like you said, you just try to leave everybody a little bit better, than they were. You use your platform. You're just kind of playing your role, and you feel like you're being directed this way, that way, and it's like, all right. And like when it's all said and done, because the movie was directed by the best director the world's ever seen, and you were a great actor for your role. You played your role, so you're gonna win an Oscar. Like,
yeah.
it's inevitable. It's going to happen. But we get caught so much in, well, what's the best movie for my life? Well, you make your own life. Well, this and that. It's like, okay, that's fine. I'd rather have it the other way though, bro. It seems like it probably comes with a lot less anxiety and stress.
Yeah. If we ever do have the chance to meet in person, I would
Yeah,
love for you to take a penalty against me. Now,
I got you.
I raise them reading because I pride myself on being a really good penalty saver. Just
I
saying.
love it.
And
I love it.
I will say the man himself Tricks did give me some advice about what's like. I have my own skills about how I can know someone's going, but he also gave me a little bit of advice that actually helped me save a penalty recently in one of my games.
Okay.
So
All right.
you might be
That'll be
tricky
fun.
though. You might be like a. I have to study you. So if I have to if I ever see you take penalties, I gotta like keep watching how you take them and stuff because I might have to
I'll
keep
tell you
that in.
this.
I have to keep
I'll
that in
tell you
mind.
this. I'm not. I've always taken penalties because I've always been a leader on every team, whether the captain or not the captain. I've always been a leader on teams, and you got to step up and take them, right? So I've always taken them. I've scored more than I've missed. I have missed my fair share. Um, so I do miss PKs, but I score a lot of PKs too. But here's what I'll leave the my very last college PK,
Mhm.
90th minute, it gets saved.
No way.
So if we win this game, we're playing at home. And if we win this game, then it's not my last collegiate game because we have another one. We go to playoffs. So it gets saved, and then we go. If I score, we win. It was tied 1-1, and we go to overtime. And it's golden goal. 8 seconds into overtime, they score. They just hit one over our center back, forward went, tapped it in, whatever. It's so dumb. So that was my last college game ever. I missed the PK in the 90th minute. It was saved though.
Yeah.
I didn't, So then last year, I come out of retirement and play for AC Houston, El Sur in Houston.
Yeah.
That's kind of what like I probably wouldn't be playing right now. I probably wouldn't have played TST. I wouldn't be playing sidekicks right now. I wouldn't have gone to Brazil. I wouldn't still be like actively like thinking I can play or be playing
Mm.
if it weren't for the conversation that I had with their coach when he was like, look, you still got stuff left in the tank. I'm building a big project. Would love to have you on the team as a captain, whatever, as a veteran. And so I told him, yes, this was now, a year and a half ago. So anyway, my last game for them, we go to PKs in a semifinal, and I we go to PKs. I'm shooting, I think, fourth, and keeper saves it.
Oh
And
no.
then they said that he came off his line, so I got to shoot it again, and I hit the crossbar the second time.
Oh no.
And we lose the semi, and so I didn't get to
Oh
play a final.
damn.
And so yeah, it happens, bro. It happens. There's been another game when I was a junior in high school. There was a game where we went to PKs. I scored a PK in the game. We tied 1-1. Then we went to overtime. Then we went to PKs. It was a semifinal, and I shot first. Everybody shot. I got to shoot again. And so that game, I scored 3 PKs in one game.
Oh my
All
god.
3 of them off the post and in. So PKs are PKs, man. I enjoy them. I enjoy them because it's hey, I'm gonna give you my best. You're gonna give me your best, and let's just freaking see what happens.
The one thing that like I was talking with Trix about this is that there's like for me as a goalkeeper, I feel like I have a little bit of advantage like in terms of like players sometimes don't think that again it's still a 50-50 shot. Like it can go either way, but the thing
Yeah,
is there's always that misconception where players are thinking, well, I should be scoring. Like
right.
the advantage is in me. It's in our side. So then, like
Yeah,
for me, I kind of know that's like in the mind of the player's head a little bit. So I feel like I can like as a goalie, I can take more risks. Like in terms of like
yeah,
I feel like I have less pressure on myself,
for sure, for sure.
and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
like and man, when saving a penalty, like we one season we had like here we went to penalties and I won an indoor trophy here, and it was the best thing because I was with all my best friends and we watched the final, won it, best feeling ever. Like it was
yeah.
the best thing I ever done because man, like we go to penalties, you save like 3 out of 5. Oh my god, it's so fun.
What's your take on I've 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 dabbled with recently with the PK strategy of just staring at the keeper and then hesitating at the end to see which way you lean and then just passing it calmly to the other side. What's your from a keeper's perspective? Because that's like a new like over the last decade.
Yeah.
Within the last decade, that's a new thing. Neymar started it, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Messi dabbled in it. There's some others. Lewandowski just scored his pen this past weekend like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. The first time I practiced it in practice in training over and over again, It freaks me out to not just have a set. I'm blasting the ball in this corner or whatever by this right post, left post. That's what I'm doing. I don't care what the keeper does. I'm going there. And if he saves it, I will shake his hand. This new age of like just stare down. I see you lean one way and I pass. I don't know. It freaks me out, but I've dabbled in it, and I have a really high success rate with it
Yeah.
because it does work. But it's so scary to wait till the last second. But from a keeper's perspective, what's your take on this new age of just waiting for the keeper to move and then going the other way?
So it's a double-edged sword, but the thing is, I like it because it presents a new challenge in a way that,
Yeah.
like, for me, like one of the keepers I love watching right now, Emilio Martinez, love
Yep.
him, especially on PKs.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's all about the mind. It's all about the
Yeah.
mind games. And then for me, it's like when players do that to me, like sometimes what I'll do is even before the kick, I'll go up to the ball. I'll even just like move the ball a little bit. I'll just say, hey, you got this. Try and get in their head a little bit, right?
Right.
So
Right.
then it's like when they do that to me, it's like, okay, who's going to try and win this mind game here? So
Yeah.
I like it. I like how it adds an extra dynamic to the penalty kicks because it presents a different challenge. So
Right.
for me, I like it. I know some keepers that don't, but for me, like anytime I do the penalty shootout, it's all about the mind games, and I feel like
Yep.
that I get a lot of enjoyment out of that because it
I
creates
like it
that little bit of that rivalry with the place kicker.
for sure, man. I think anytime like Martinez, right? Like anytime you can put in the in the mind of the kicker, I have to be perfect to score. That's in my opinion where the keeper wins. If I feel like if I feel like I have to put this ball so close to the side netting, so close to the post if I'm going to score, my margin of error just increased like crazy. As opposed to, hey, just put it on frame somewhere on a side but if again going up against a keeper that you fear or that's playing mind games with you, it makes you be like, dang, I better really tuck this one away,
Yeah.
like really side netting, or it's getting saved. So because then you may guess the other way, and I missed by an inch or hit the post and I missed,
Yeah.
you know. So
Who
crazy.
who? So for you, if you like you have your team, who do you think like what's your top three goalkeepers right now in the world for you? You got to pick.
Top three, I gotta go with I am gonna say Amy Martinez.
Yeah.
Um the kid, and I say kid, the kid that just took Chiquito Romero's spot for Boca is absolutely fantastic. I can't remember his name right now. But I've been watching some Boca games recently. And then I mean, over the course of Courtois, I've enjoyed Courtois for a long time. I'm trying to think like right now who they would be, but I'm more so thinking like guys that I've enjoyed watching.
Mm,
Muslera, I enjoyed watching Muslera after his 2010 World Cup. That was fantastic.
yeah.
His career just like took off after that World Cup. It was so fun to watch his career take off. Um, I'm not a huge Donnarumma fan, to be honest. Um, not that he's overrated or anything. He's still Donnarumma, but I don't really care for him. Um,
How about Oblak?
who?
Oh, Jan Oblak from Atletico.
He's fun to watch.
Ter
I don't.
Stegen.
I also don't watch a ton of European ball, man. Like I'll watch Champions League and stuff, but I'm not super invested in
That's fair.
European teams. But I guess Ederson isn't. He's not starting right now, is he?
No, I don't think he is.
No,
No.
no. But like he's. I've enjoyed watching his career. That's recently that he's now kind of on the bench. Yeah, bro. I'm not as well versed in keepers. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm just interested because like I have a little bit of affinity because I'm a goalkeeper, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
that's why. Um, for right now, like
I did hit you with the Boca Juniors keeper though. You got some
I
research to do
did.
on that end. He's good, man. He's pretty good.
I gotta go Google him after this because
Yeah,
I might have to go look at him and watch some highlights of him because I gotta
yeah,
take some of his stuff from and apply it to my game. One of the cool things actually happened this summer. My parents actually went to Europe and they were there during the Euros. And man, I got and I begged my parents to get this. They went to the Bayern store and I got a Manuel Neuer jersey. So happy, right from the Bayern Munich store. So freaking happy. Oh,
amazing.
dude, it's so good. I got it framed too.
Wow.
I got it back, framed
Who's your
it.
favorite keeper all time? Obviously Buffon. So if not Buffon, because you've already mentioned him, or is it like Buffon and then like five guys fighting for number two for you?
So that's a good question. And I was actually going to throw that question. So I'll answer that question, but I also had the same kind of answer for you, but for a player wise and on
Yeah,
your side. So it's actually kind of it's a little bit of a different one because there's so many good keepers out there, and just watching. So Oliver Kahn, dude, I it's just watching him. He's just so eccentric. I don't like
yeah,
anytime I watch an Oliver Kahn game, like whether it be retro highlights, I don't like he's gonna stop the ball. Don't get me wrong. He's gonna make a great saves. I just don't know what he's gonna do, like
right,
in terms
right,
of that.
right.
And for me, it's just like that type of player. It just makes me magnetize him, and just him as a leader. Like for me, that
Yeah,
was just kind of one of those things which was like you don't see them like that anymore. And
right.
for me, like that was probably my second, but a close one to him actually was Petr Cech.
Yeah.
I feel like he's kind of underrated a little bit, but like in terms of like how his standings up there are. But he was always my close third. I loved watching him too when he's on Chelsea.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I wanted to hit you with this one. So I know Ronaldinho, Calme are yours. What's
Yeah.
like your third? Because for me, I was gonna say I love Hernan Crespo.
Oof. Crespo's fire. Crespo is
Love
kind
Crespo.
of the dying breed, along with like Milito, Batistuta. Those guys were different. So I am biased to Boca Junior players. I think if I had to name a third just above the rest, and again, these are my goats,
Yeah.
right? Not we could sit here and argue who should be on Mount Rushmore, whatever. My goats.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I probably go Tevez, man.
So good.
I probably go Tevez. His career was unbelievable. Also, I mean, from going to Corinthians to obviously, NU City, Juve. I mean, it's just crazy. And then coming back to Boca after his stint in China. So yeah, I think them. And then I enjoy. I think from like a number nine perspective, also Suarez has been super fun to learn from.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was as fun to watch, but to learn from just movements as a nine. Uh, I think was unbelievable. You learn so much from watching Suarez play.
Do you know?
Uh,
Do you know another one? Sorry, I wanted to kind of sorry interject. Another fun one to watch old highlights of, and I always find enjoyment watching him is Garincha.
Garrincha.
I
Yeah,
like watching him too, man. It's just that old style in
yeah,
him is just
yeah.
another player like from the
Well,
past.
there's R9 too, right? Like
Yeah.
R9, my God, he's so good, so good. I just didn't watch him as much. Obviously, he didn't play in Argentina one, and then two, he was already in Europe when we couldn't watch that many European games.
Oh,
Growing up in Argentina, so I didn't watch a lot of him until later. Um, but no, man, I think Neymar for me also is one that I don't know. He was like another Dino reincarnate kind of deal.
different. He's
But then
different.
obviously Messi, Cristiano, Maradona, Pele. But if you were to be like, all right, Dave, like name three that if you saw them in person, you would film them instead of get a picture with them.
Yeah.
and it would probably be Dino. That's already happened.
Yeah.
It would be Riquelme, and then it would probably be Tevez.
Love
I
that.
think those three, and I try to embody them when I'm on the field. I try to play with joyous flair every now and then of Dino. I try to control the game, the pace like Riquelme, and I try to be fearless and just run through everything and fight like Tevez.
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit of embodiment of there in my style of play. Um, I'm fit. I run like crazy. I fight for every ball. I love running into people and running into goalies, and you're not going to stop me very easy. There's Tevez, right? I like to kind of control the pace. When the ball's at my feet, relax, foot on the ball. Like Riquelme, and then I like going forward also, and using skills and stuff like Dino. So um,
I love
I
that.
like to have a good time. So I
So
think those three I try to embody them every time I'm on a pitch.
yeah, and for me, like yeah, like I know you have a very big like Argentina Boca focus.
Yeah,
I'm fascinated with Italian football, like soccer. That's
yeah,
like my like the 2006 World Cup was like my whole thing. That's where I got kind of first introduced to the whole thing. So
yeah,
for
yeah,
me,
yeah.
like my ideal three other than Buffon, Maldini,
Yep,
Pirlo, and
yep,
Del Piero. Or and Totti. And Totti's up there. Like I really want
yeah.
to see Totti as well. But like for me, like I love the Italian, like especially the old
Yeah.
Italians, like as well.
I'm
Like
trying to get my hands on. There's these gold Tiempo, the Tatis, um, that I want so bad, but they're so expensive. But I want them. I just want to know I have them in my man cave.
I would so be man. If you do get them, can you send me a picture? I would love to see them.
Yeah, 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 I got you. There's this guy, shout out JD and Cleats. He's who I got the Ronaldinho's from,
Oh my god.
the R10s from. He's got a sick collection, um, that he said that he sells. But yeah, it's I'll DM you. I'll DM you those. They're gold and like a dark blue, and they're limited edition. I think there's only like, I don't know, maybe like 5,000 of them made. This
Because
guy has a size 10. I would never wear it, but knowing that I could if I wanted to, and just knowing that it's in my man cave, Todd's he's an
oh
all
yeah.
time goat also, man. Like he just, I don't know, he's just different. Just crazy stuff that I don't agree with, but I also like, I don't know, I can't hate it. Like I'd cheat on my wife, but never on Roma. Like, bro, what? Like, what did you just say? Like, no way
Yeah,
you just said that.
I know.
But it's like, I love that he said that. I don't live like that.
Yeah,
I would never do that. But I love that he exists and said it. It's like, oh my goodness. But yeah, man, he's a goat for sure.
and funny enough, he's actually there's been talks about him returning. There's actually
I
talks about
know.
yeah, I know. I'm like
Como to go play for Como.
yeah,
Yeah.
under Fabregas. Yeah, like they're
Hey,
signing all
that'd
these
that'd
players.
be amazing. I'll tell you what, it would put butts in the seats for sure.
Well, I think isn't Varane still playing there, or did he retire? Because I think Varane went there.
I don't know.
Rafael Varane. I think Rafael. Like, yeah. Either way, if he plays, I'm getting a Cuomo
Yeah.
jersey. I'm just saying, I'm getting a Cuomo
Oh,
jersey.
for sure. For sure. I almost played against Como in the TST
No
when they
way.
came in.
That's so cool. And then yeah, obviously, man, you've been fantastic. I can't wait to see you more and just to enjoy the game as we go along with it.
I love it, man. I appreciate you, dude. Thanks for having me. And yeah, shout out you guys, man. Keep doing what you're doing, and keep following the passion, man. See where it leads. Like I said, keep playing your role, and you'll win an Oscar, man. So just keep
Appreciate
doing
it.
it.
Likewise, and I'll be cheering you on through the indoor season. I'll be watching those games, man.
Let's do it, man. I'm hoping. I
Can't
got
wait.
my eyes set on Rookie of the Year. So that's my personal long shot goal, but I'm gonna hold that one close to my mind and heart all season. So
Can't wait. Well, hey, I'll be keeping tuning to that, and man, I'll be sure to watch out for those highlights from you.
love it. Appreciate you, brother.
Okay, have a good rest of your weekend, day.
All right, Keith, you too, man. Bye.
Peace.